In this third part of the third and final part of the cultural evolution topic, I want to talk about cultural persistence a little bit, but I also want to kind of talk some about uh, what trends, shall we say, trends in modern culture. Okay, number one, the cultures are becoming increasingly interconnected. If you went back to 5,000 years ago and you took a human being, it is doubtful that human being would ever move more than 20 miles from his place of birth. Even 500 years ago, I mean, the average human being would not travel more than 20 miles from their place of birth. That's just not how that works. And therefore, you would have localized cultural ideas that were really and didn't really spread in. But now, I mean, these cultures are complete. As you can see from the Silk Road, it's not like it's new, but it's exploded. Okay. And so we talk about cultures are becoming increasingly interconnected, but unfortunately, it is not a equally interconnected. It is pretty much a, you can see the picture, ideas from one place tend to spread all over, right? So though America's culture is changing based on its connections to other cultures, it's much, much, much more of an opposite. Other cultures are changing because of, it is what it is. But we can see this interconnectedness in terms of, migrants. We can see it in terms of how much, how much of a country's products, you produce all these products, how many get traded, and it's like trade has gone up, and the average automobile by the time it's it might be owned by a Japanese company but made in a factory in Ohio, but it'll have parts from Mexico and parts from Vietnam and parts from and parts from and parts from, and meanwhile the parts from Mexico will ship back up into the United States, be modified, shipped back down to Mexico for another step, then back up to Ohio for the fact. It's like, so just one automobile can come from 72 different countries and have parts that are sliding all over the place. Clearly, McDonald's is the player in this game of socio-cultural globalization. You'd be hard pressed to find countries around this world that don't have McDonald's. They're 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 pretty a dominant player, and what you find is that I do enjoy going to McDonald's in other countries because it's interesting to see how they take their local twist on the McDonald's franchise. But yet the McDonald's corporation says, if you want to make, say in Korea, a bulgogi burger, something culturally based, that's fine, make a bulgogi burger, but you will use a hamburger patty which is produced to a very specific standard here in the United States. Okay, so they are allowing for some cultural diversity, but yet at the same time are pretty much standardizing and saying this is what you will get. Here's an idea that we'll explore in much, much, much more detail in topic six. And after topic six, it'll be the dominant theme or the theme that structures pretty much every topic afterward. So today I'm just real brief on it because we'll really expand on it. That is, some cultures are much more individualistic, and the United States is, of course, the supreme example of individualistic. And say, for example, in America, there was a self-help book a bunch of years ago, and this book is called "Looking Out for Number One." So, how do you, help yourself? You look out for yourself. Okay, people from collectivistic cultures would have a very different perspective on this. They'd say if you want to help yourself, the best thing you can do is improve your group status and improve your group standing, and therefore your entire group will be lifted, and you will, in fact, have better mental health. Right? And so we find that this American, not just American, but America is worse than everybody else. This American individualistic idea, what, go backward. Huh, this is new to me. this American idea of individualism, that out. This American idea of individualism is um, is spreading all over. And another major theme or an outcome of that is, look, people are becoming selfish, self-centered, self. They're focusing on. So we see here, look at this. People, they just don't participate in civic activities. They attend church less. They they just don't entertain at home like they used to. They don't eat together. And all of these graphics that I'm showing you are before pre-internet. This is pre-internet graphing, and it's wow. Just imagine what these look like now with the internet and what our kinds of entertainment sources we have available to us. People socialize less, less trusting. They don't stop at stop signs. Okay, and there's some explanations for this. There's an increase in how many dual income families there are. Both parents are out. We've got suburban lifestyles, therefore, not only do we have to spend more time on the road commuting than generations ago, but we also are going out to these communities that isolate. I can tell you, there's fences everywhere. Every house has fences around. You can go months without seeing your neighbor. I mean, your neighbor is 10 feet away from your house, and you don't see them for months. Okay, that's a strange thing right there. But a large part, as I said, is electronic changes in that stuff. Another large change in cultures, again, all over the world, and starting here in America and then spreading out, is consumptionism. So, 150 years ago, if you were an average human being, you would probably own one pair of pants. And maybe two. You'd have your church pants and your regular pants, right? And after a handful of years, the church pants become regular pants, and regular pants become kitchen rags. You would find a use for them, or they become somebody else's pants. Now, you and I suspect, have a lot more than two pairs of pants, and we probably, as a general rule, wear a different pair, pretty much a new pair each day. And this is new. This is new. And this has got a lot to do with advertising. And advertising's job, and it comes out of the Industrial Revolution. During the Industrial Revolution, countries such as England and then even into the United States, they were firing their economies by producing more and more and more. And what happens is eventually you have to have a market. You have to have somebody to buy it. How do you convince people to buy pants when they've got a mindset of all I need is two pairs of pants, my regular pants and my church pants? You have to convince them it's not a matter of you want another pair, you need it. And so there will be changes in the mentality of, well, cleanliness says that you need to change and wash your clothing and so the advertisement's job is to convince you need whatever crap they're producing. We find as a rule that people are becoming more intelligent. I'm a little skeptical on this particular idea because by intelligent you mean more people are getting bachelor's degrees, and yeah, I'm jumping on board. There's just that number is screaming. But we'll have to come back to intelligence later, because just because people are getting bachelor's degrees, that's another question. Yet, with all of this change, there's still some persistence. Here's a map of Italy, and you can see this is from the 1820s or something like that, 1840s. And in 1870, the Kingdom of Italy was created, um, and so the entire Italian peninsula was combined into one cultural entity. Okay, but before unification, the northern part of Italy was all independent kingdoms, city-states. You know, they had their own structures, organization. Meanwhile, southern Italy, you can see there the Kingdom of Sicily. Southern Italy was dominated by foreign governments, like uh, when Napoleon conquered so much of Europe, he puts his brother, I think it was Jerome Napoleon, in charge of Sicily, right? And so it's just the entire southern was dominated by, and so all decision making was made by foreign players. And so to this day, even though they've had 150 some years of similar cultural impacts, laws and, you know, television programming, whatever, they've got it all the same. And yet you find that to this day, northern Italy has a much better economy than southern Italy. Northern Italy has much better regional government than southern Italy. And it's just in so many ways, southern Italy just it started with a deficit, and with 150 years, it has not had the opportunity to catch up. So we can see the idea is just like with biological evolution. We discussed that in the last topic, and we said, look, biological evolution doesn't, you know, start from scratch ever. It never makes a hard reset. No, it takes what it currently has, uses it and modifies it to adapt itself to the current environment. And therefore, you know, even today, you and I, we have some evolutionary holdovers. Remember mismatch theory? Some evolutionary holdovers because it just keeps building on what was before it. And so in southern Italy, with this kind of a poverty and a lack of local rule, they just didn't, and they haven't gotten there to this day. Okay.